If you love action anime, then you love fighting. Not the lame fighting, the city-destroying, world-ending, cameras flying, people bleeding kinds of fights that give you the adrenaline rush. Here are 10 new epic anime fights that blew our mind. Let's go! Number 10, Baki vs. Yujiro, Baki Hanma Season 2 Part 2. What better way to start off this list than speaking about a good old father-son moment? But when both that father and son are power-hungry maniacs, we get something like this. You know the fight's gonna be epic when both father and son jump out of a 50-foot tall building and the son still survives to slap the hell out of his father. I mean, you know how fights are in Baki. It's never about the actual physics, it's about the muscles, the hits, and the Mortal Kombat level finisher moves that keep the fights going.
ウブな慣習の眼力にはここに少年が敢行した三連光の一切が目に留まらず
Unlike a lot of Baki fights, this is a fight that packed both character and action into the show. Baki was waiting a long time to kick the ass of his father, and the show built its entire story up for it. Well, what can I say? This fight delivered everything we needed perfectly. Number 9, Shadow Garden vs. John Smith, The Eminence in Shadow. There's no better flexing than one guy fighting his own team, and that's while being anonymous. We all know how cringe and awesome Shadow can be at the same time, so when he hatches a plan to go incognito and travel around in a train, it is no surprise he gets attacked by his very team. And we know how the fight goes. People came at him one by one, but the fight that really picked pace was his fight with Delta. Shadow really doesn't think much of the other members of the Shadow Garden, but the guy always has a soft spot for Delta, so I was always curious how the fight was going to end. Besides, one of the most tension-filled scenes of the show could be Shadow fighting the Shadow Garden, because the guy kept beating the rest of the villains. Number 8, Momoshiki vs. Kawaki, Boruto. It's rare to see Boruto appear in lists these days, but from time to time, it does some things better and immediately gets the attention of the media. Case in point, Momoshiki's fight with Kawaki. Naruto is always popular for its hand-to-hand combat, but the title was almost fading away ever since Boruto landed. Then, this fight comes along and gives us some good old Kakashi vs. Obito vibes again. I mean, look at this hand-to-hand combat. This is one of the few moments I was actually on the edge of my seat during a Boruto episode. It's also amazing how both of them learned from each other's moves and used the right technique at the right time. There are also other small details scattered around the fight that made the entire scene so much better. What do you know? This is pretty much within the first 10 of a best Naruto's fights list. Number 7, Snake vs. Thorfinn, Vinland Saga.
まだ上がるのか。けど見える。
A lot of people believe the Vinland Saga would receive mixed responses because of the way it changed from a fast-paced revenge story to a slow-paced character development story. But guess what? People still loved it, and I loved it too. And this is one of the fights that made me love the show. This is where Thorfinn learns violence should only be used to protect himself and his loved ones. There are so many good moments in the second season of Vinland Saga, but sometimes we want the good old action to come back again. This is one of the scenes that balance the action and the storytelling really well. And not to mention the animation was epic too. But it's done by MAPPA, so there are probably a few underpaid animators who deserve our respect. Number 6, Marileona vs. Princia, Black Clover, Sword of the Wizard King. A long time ago, an anime page with Black Clover was the place people went to vent their anger. But now the show has come a long way. And I mean, a long way. Our main character no longer screams like he has throat cancer. The fights are more fluid and well animated. And most of all, the female characters get the right treatment. And that's why in this fight, the femme fantails take the lead. この私に拳を使わせるとは貴様は本当に面白い There's nothing better than seeing two overpowered girls with suicidal thoughts going on a death match, because that's when you know there's no rules or plot armor to assist you. It's kill or get killed. Marileona was always one of the OP female characters in the show, and it's rare to see anyone challenge her, so it was nice to see a fight where the power scales are heightened. Number 5, Zoro vs. King, One Piece. One Piece is going to break this season. The hype around it is getting stronger and stronger. Gear 5 broke the internet. Luffy vs. Kaido literally topped the charts. But one thing where the entire studio poured their soul and half of their souls into was the fight between Zoro and King. I mean, look at the animation. The visuals alone are mind-blowing, and every time I read the manga chapter of this, I am blown away by how well this transformed into an anime. The movement, the scale of the attacks, the power levels were all just laid out on the table in the perfect picture way possible. And even then, it somehow managed not to get overshadowed by Luffy and Kaido's animation. Hats off to Studio Parrot. Number 4, Dauma and Snake vs. Changiren, Blade of the Guardians. We always see 1 vs. 1 fights, so how about 3 people fighting at the same time? That's 3 times the effort. Chinese anime is always known for its mind-blowing animation, but holy cow, man, look at that camera work! This is not only one of the most fluid camera work I've seen in any anime fight, but it's also some mind-blowing direction. The impact of the swords, the movement of the swords to the kills, double kills, triple kills is just icing on the cake. And then the entire fight transforms to a 2 vs 3 to 1 vs 1 vs 1 to 2 vs 1 again, and by the time the fight finishes, you forget who was fighting who. And that's because the animation stole your heart and the camera work stole your mind. Number 3, Muchiro vs Goyoku, Demon Slayer.
ねえ君はさなんで自分だけが本気じゃないと思ったの
You know how the silent and calm guy always kicks ass when he's forced to fight? It was true in this anime too. Muchiro has his sword and Goiko has a large octopus. What could go wrong? Except Muchiro underestimates the guy and then he gets trapped in a water bubble, but that doesn't last long.
霞の呼吸6の型月の歌唱
I mean, we all know that Ufotable Fight is going to be on this list, or else this cannot even be a proper anime fight list. But this time it wasn't some fast-paced, adrenaline-filled action fest like Tengen and Goyotaro. This was more of a guy waiting for the right place and the right time to land his Mortal Kombat finishing move. And since this is Ufotable, the finishing move was done the best.
霞の呼吸7の型
Number 2, Gilgamesh vs. Enkidu, Fate Strange Fake.
それでも生きる道を選んでいたと思うよ。ウルクの民のためにね。
Nothing like two old friends reuniting, am I right? Look at that smile on Gilgamesh's face. He's so happy after seeing his bro, he pulls his most powerful weapon right away. Jokes aside, we know a fight's going to be epic when Gilgamesh is involved. He always pulls out the most overpowered attacks, and this time it was no different.
人と共に歩む僕はゆえに。エヌマエリア
And this time, his challenger was Enkidu, and he has his own cool tricks up his sleeve. It was so awesome when both of them yelled Enuma Elish at the same time, and then decided to nuke half of the arena with the mere power of the attacks. These are the stuff we love about Fate anime fights. Some guy ends up nuking the area, and the rest of the people are worried how they're going to handle the guy. Number 1, Sukuna vs. Mahoraga, Jujutsu Kaisen. And we finish off with a bang. And bang comes when you decide to throw an OP curse and make him fight the king of curses. You got buildings flying, cities getting flattened within seconds, and Sukuna was smiling all the damn time. And can we appreciate how this man casually launched one of the most powerful attacks of all time? Sukuna's power levels were always over the top, but this is the one time anyone came closer to actually overpowering him in a fight. Not that he was overpowered in any way, but Mahoraga came close. If this was Yuji, he would have been sliced meat by now. You know what they say, it's always nice to have the king of curses in your body.